She once ran in slow motion across beaches. Millions of eyes followed her every move. But today, Pamela Anderson runs her hands through soil. Not sand. The world's most famous lifeguard has found something that cameras never captured. Peace. Behind the gates of her Vancouver Island home, something magical grows. Not fame, not headlines, something real. Something that breathes life back into a woman who gave everything to the world and got burned. This is the story of how a garden saved Pamela Anderson. How roots in Canadian earth became stronger than any red carpet. How a woman who lived in the spotlight learned to bloom in the shadows. The paparazzi don't know about this place. The tabloids can't touch it here. This is her sanctuary. Her secret. Her rebirth. But why did Pamela Anderson, the woman who had everything, need saving at all? The year was 1989. A young Canadian girl sits in the stands at a BC Lions football game. The camera finds her. One moment changes everything. Labatt Beer wants her face on their cans. Playboy comes calling. Lee beckons. "I never wanted to be famous," she would later say. "I just wanted to feel beautiful." Beautiful she was. Dangerous curves. Platinum hair. Red swimsuit. Pamela Anderson didn't just star in Baywatch. She became Baywatch. She became the fantasy of an entire generation, but fantasies have a dark side. Fame arrived like a tsunami. Overwhelming, suffocating, every step watched, every breath analyzed, every relationship dissected by strangers who felt they owned her. Then came Tommy Lee. Rock star. Bad boy, magnetic, destructive. Their love story played out like a movie, but not the kind with happy endings. 1995, they marry after knowing each other for days. 4 days, the world calls it crazy. Maybe it was, but crazy felt real in a world of fake smiles and scripted lines. "I thought I found my soulmate," Pamela whispers in old interviews, her voice cracking just slightly. 2 children follow. Brandon and Dylan, her babies, her everything. But even motherhood couldn't shield her from the storm coming. The tape, the betrayal that broke the internet before the internet broke everything else. Private moments stolen, sold. Broadcast too. The world, Pamela Anderson, the woman, disappeared. Only the commodity remained. She tried to smile through it, pose through it, act through it, but inside, something was dying. "I felt like I was drowning," she admitted years later. "Everyone was watching, but nobody was throwing me a life preserver." Relationships crumbled, marriages failed. The woman who saved lives on screen couldn't save her own. Rick Salomon, Kid Rock. Back to Tommy Lee. Each attempt at love played out. In headlines, each heartbreak measured in magazine sales. Hollywood chewed her up, spit her out, offered her smaller and smaller pieces of herself back. Reality shows, dancing competitions. Anything to stay relevant. Anything to pay the bills. But relevance is a cruel master. It demands everything, gives nothing back. By 2020, Pamela Anderson was exhausted. Broken, famous, but forgotten. Wealthy, but empty. The red swimsuit had become a prison. The smile, a mask. She could no longer wear. She needed to disappear. Not from life, from the life that wasn't really living. So she came home. To Canada. To the island where she was born. To the place that remembered her before the world decided who she should be. Vancouver Island welcomed her back. Not as CJ Parker. Not as a Playboy model. Not as Tommy Lee's ex-wife. Just as Pamela. Just as a woman who needed somewhere to heal. House she found wasn't a mansion. No gold-plated fixtures. No infinity pool. Just windows that faced the forest. Space that breathed. Land that listened without judgment. I needed dirt under my fingernails instead of diamonds. She would later reflect. The first seed she planted was a tomato. Simple, honest, real. She knelt in Canadian soil and pressed it into earth that didn't care about her past. Dirt that promised. Only what she was willing to work for, the tomato grew. Then beans, carrots, lettuce. Each plant became a small victory against the chaos of her former life. Each harvest, a meal that nourished more than her body. Neighbors started to notice. The famous woman planting vegetables. Just a woman planting vegetables. They waved. Shared gardening tips. Traded produce. Normal human interactions. The kind she hadn't experienced in decades. My neighbors don't see Pamela Anderson, she explains, her voice softer now. They see Pam, the lady with the really good tomatoes. The garden grew. So did she. Roses climbed wooden trellises she built with her own hands. Lavender perfumed the air with scents better than any designer perfume. Sunflowers turned their faces toward light. Real light. Not camera flashes. She learned that healing isn't glamorous, it's dirty. Slow requires patience, requires faith in things unseen. Requires trusting that what you plant today might bloom tomorrow or next season, or maybe never. But you plant anyway. The paparazzi stopped calling. The tabloids found newer scandals. Hollywood moved on to younger faces. The world that once couldn't get enough of Pamela Anderson simply forgot her, and for the first time in 30 years, she felt grateful for their neglect. Her sons visit now. Brandon and Dylan. Men now, not boys. They sit in the garden their mother built. They eat food she grew with her own hands. They see her smile without cameras rolling. This is who my mom really is, Dylan said in a rare interview. Not the person everyone thinks they know. The garden isn't just vegetables now. Fruit trees heavy with apples and pears. Herb gardens that smell like childhood summers. Flower beds that bloom in seasons, teaching patience to a woman who lived in the immediate gratification of fame. She wakes at sunrise. Not because a call time demands it. Because the garden calls softer, but stronger than any director ever did. She drinks coffee on her porch, watches mist rise from the forest. Plans the day not around meetings or photo shoots, but around what needs tending. Weeds. Always weeds. But she's learned to see them differently now. Not enemies. Just things growing. In the wrong place, at the wrong time, they can be moved. Redirected. Given space to grow where they belong, like her. Winter comes to Vancouver Island. Harsh, unforgiving. The garden sleeps under snow, but Pamela doesn't mind. She's learned that rest isn't failure. It's preparation. Spring will come. It always does. She spends winter months planning, sketching garden layouts, reading seed catalogs like scripts for dreams she wants to plant, writing in journals nobody will publish, living in moments nobody will photograph. This is freedom. The woman who once wore the smallest swimsuits now covers herself in oversized sweaters, boots caked with mud, hair in messy buns held together with whatever's handy. No makeup, no pose. No performance, just presence. Spring 2023, the garden explodes. With life, 3 years of growth. 3 years of healing. 3 years of learning who Pamela Anderson is when nobody's watching. She starts sharing photos on social media, not posed shots. Real moments, dirty hands holding fresh vegetables. Sunrise views from her kitchen window, her dogs running through. Tall grass dot the comments surprise her. Hundreds, thousands. People saying they're proud of her, that she looks happy. That she looks real. You inspire me to plant my own garden, writes a follower from Ohio. Thank you for showing us that starting over is beautiful, types someone from Australia. Strangers become friends through shared love of growing things. The internet, which once destroyed her privacy, now connects her to kindred spirits worldwide. Gardeners who understand that peace isn't found in spotlights, it's found in soil. But healing isn't a destination. It's a daily choice. Some days are harder than others. Old wounds ache in new weather. Memories surface like stubborn weeds. Fame calls sometimes, offering easy money for hard appearances. She usually says no now. The garden has taught her about seasons, about patience, about the difference between growing and rushing, about the beauty of things that bloom quietly, away from crowds. Her tomatoes don't need audiences. Her roses don't require reviews. Her herbs don't demand headlines. They just grow. Beautifully. Purposefully. Naturally, like she's learning to do. 2024. 5 years since she came home, the property has transformed. But more importantly, so has she. The garden spreads across nearly an acre now. Vegetables feed her family. Flowers feed her soul. The work feeds something deeper than either. Her purpose. Documentary filmmakers want to capture this transformation. Publishing houses offer book deals. Hollywood producers suggest comeback vehicles. Everyone wants to monetize her healing. She considers each offer carefully, then returns to her garden. The answer usually grows clearer with her hands in soil. Some stories don't need selling. Some transformations don't require audiences. Some victories are won in silence, celebrated in sunsets nobody else sees. But she does share glimpses. Photos of perfect tomatoes. Time-lapse videos of flowers opening. Stories of small discoveries in her small corner of the world. Because maybe someone else needs to know that starting over is possible. That famous doesn't mean fulfilled. That happiness grows from the ground up, not from the spotlight down. Her garden has become more than plants. It's become pilgrimage site for wounded spirits. Not literally, metaphorically. Through her posts, through her interviews, through her willingness to say that fame nearly killed her, and that dirt saved her life. I was performing my whole life. She reflects in recent interviews. Even when the cameras weren't rolling, I was performing being Pamela Anderson. I forgot how to just be Pam. The garden remembers who Pam is, demands nothing from her except presence, gives everything back except emptiness. This is where she found herself, in rows of vegetables nobody will photograph, in flowers that bloom for their own joy, in soil that doesn't care about box office numbers or magazine covers, in earth that simply holds her, supports her, lets her grow. The woman who once ran in slow motion down beaches now moves deliberately through her garden. Each step purposeful, each moment chosen, each breath her own. The cameras don't follow her here. They can't. This isn't about show business. It's about the business of growing, of healing, of becoming who you were before the world decided who you should be. Pamela Anderson found her paradise, not in Hollywood Hills, not in Malibu mansions, not in magazine spreads, in Canadian dirt, where she planted seeds of herself and watched them grow into something beautiful, something real, something worth more than all the fame she ever harvested. Her garden blooms. So does she. Finally, completely. Naturally, this is her sanctuary, her secret, her victory. The woman who saved lives on screen finally learned to save her own. One seed at a time, one season at a time, one breath at a time. In a garden that grows more than vegetables, it grows hope, it grows healing, it grows the woman Pamela Anderson was always meant to be. When the world stops watching, we finally learn to see ourselves. Pamela Anderson sees clearly now, through dirt-stained fingers and sunrise-painted mornings, through seasons that teach patience and soil that teaches truth. She is home. She is whole. She is growing, and if you've ever felt lost in your own life, maybe it's time to plant something too. Maybe healing grows in the ground we tend. Maybe peace blooms in the gardens we create. Maybe starting over starts with a single seed. What will you plant in your sanctuary? If this story of transformation inspired you, let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Luminoir for more untold stories of how celebrities find their way back to themselves.